The desert was silent, except for the slow creak of rusted metal. Wind blew over the old smuggler's depot, carrying the smell of burnt wires and old engine fuel. No one lived there now. No one dared. People said cursed things were hidden inside. Broken machines, lost cargo, and darker things. But the man didn't care about stories. His name was Cole, a quiet human scavenger who searched old places for parts he could sell. He had no family, no friends, and no reason to fear ghosts or lies. He had only his tools, his old transport bike, and a cold hunger in his gut that never seemed to leave. That day, Cole entered the depot at sunset. He moved carefully through the long abandoned metal halls, his flashlight cutting through the dust-filled air. A few wires here, a control panel there. Not much. Most of the good tech had already been stolen years ago. He turned a corner and stopped. There was a large metal crate pushed against the far wall. It didn't match the rest of the junk. This crate looked newer, stronger. Its corners were burned like someone tried to melt it. Open, but failed. Cole stepped closer. Locked, he whispered, testing the edges. He touched his scanner to the side and read the tag. Live cargo, priority. Dangerous. Do not open. His heart skipped. Live cargo? In a place abandoned for years? That shouldn't be possible, but something deep inside the crate moved. He jumped back. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't a trick. Something inside was breathing. Soft, weak, but real. Cole raised his flashlight higher. There were small air holes on the side. He knelt, looked through eyes. Two silver eyes stared back at him through the hole. Wide, scared, glowing faintly in the dark. Then a voice, so soft he almost didn't hear it. Help me. His breath caught. It was a woman's voice. Broken, tired, alien. Cole stepped back. What the hell? He looked again. Thin arms, skin with a strange violet hue. Chains, real chains. Around her wrists, around her neck. Who put you in there? He asked, not sure if he even expected an answer. She didn't reply. Just closed her eyes. Cole stood frozen. He knew he should walk away. This was not his business. Whatever species she was, she might be dangerous. Or worse, someone important was probably looking for her. Freeing her could mean prison. Or death. But the longer he looked, the less he saw a dangerous alien, and the more he saw someone broken. Someone begging. Someone left behind like trash. He sighed, pulled out his plasma cutter, and started slicing the crate open. Sparks flew. The metal hissed. The air smelled like hot copper. When he finished, the front of the crate fell open with a pling. Loud bang. She didn't move. Her legs were too weak. Her face was dirty, bruised, and her lips cracked from thirst. The chains were connected to a small power lock, blinking red with every heartbeat she had left. Cole kneeled beside her. I'm not going to hurt you, he said gently. Let's get these off. The alien woman flinched when he touched the chains, but didn't stop him. Her body was too tired to resist. He sliced the cuffs one by one. Her arms dropped like dead weight. He offered her water. She didn't trust it at first, but drank it anyway. Then slowly, she crawled out of the crate. She looked around, as if seeing the world for the first time in years. Then her glowing silver eyes locked with his. He didn't speak. She didn't speak. And then without a word she ran. Into the shadows of the depot. Into the night. No thank you. No goodbye. Just silence. Cole stood there for a long time, confused. Could still hear the sound of her chains hitting the floor. Why was she locked up like that? Who would do something like this? And why did he feel like this wasn't the end? The sun disappeared behind the hills. The depot turned black. Cole picked up the broken chain from the floor and stared at it, his hand trembling slightly. He didn't know it yet. But the woman he had unchained wasn't just running away. She was going to return. And when she did, she would not come back empty-handed. The desert was cold at night. Colder than Cole remembered. It had been 4 days since he unchained her. 4 days since the alien woman ran into the darkness without a word. He hadn't told anyone. Who would believe him anyway? A chained alien girl in a sealed crate. Number. One would buy that story, but ever since that night, something had changed. Cole's small cabin deep in the Rocky Hills wasn't just his anymore. Things were different. At first, it was small. His tools weren't where he left them. His firewood pile was larger than it had been the night before. His old solar panel, which had stopped working weeks ago, was suddenly fixed. He thought maybe he was just tired. Maybe it was all in his head, but then he started hearing the whispers. They didn't come from outside. They came from within the walls, soft, gentle, not angry, not cruel, just curious, like someone was watching him from the shadows, learning. One night, Cole woke up to the sound of a bowl moving in his kitchen. He grabbed his old rifle and stepped into the dark room. Bowl was full, not empty, full. With glowing blue fruit he had never seen before. Still warm, still fresh. They smelled sweet and soft like flowers. He blinked. What in the... There were no footprints. No sound of a door opening. Just that same silent feeling like eyes in the dark. Was it her? He thought she had escaped. Left the planet. Gone back to wherever she came from. But something told him she had never left. The next morning, Cole didn't go scavenging. He sat outside his cabin, sharpening a blade and waiting. Not in fear, but in curiosity. That evening, just before the sun vanished, he heard it again. A whisper, this time closer. He looked around slowly. I know you're there. Silence. He placed the bowl of warm food beside the fire. You're hungry. That's why you came back, right? Still no answer. Only the crackle of firewood. Then a small shape moved behind a tree. Silver eyes peeked out. Watching, he didn't move, didn't stand, just waited. And then she stepped into the light. Not fully. Only enough for him to see her face. It was cleaner now. The bruises had faded. But her arms were still thin. Her body still weak. She wore part of an old desert cloak, probably something she had stolen from a trader's camp. Her silver eyes looked at the food, then back at him. Cole pushed the bowl forward. It's yours. She didn't move. You don't have to talk, he said softly. But if you're going to visit my cabin, at least eat something. After a few seconds, she stepped forward, picked up the bowl, and sat just at the edge of the firelight. Not too close. Not too far. She ate in silence. Cole didn't ask questions. Didn't stare. He just sat and watched the fire. After she finished, she placed the empty bowl down and stood to leave. But then she did something strange. She turned to him and bowed her head. Low. Respectful. And then vanished back into the trees. That night, Cole couldn't sleep. His mind kept playing the moment again and again. That simple bow, that quiet presence. Why had she come back? Why was she helping him? And what was she hiding? The next morning, he found a fresh pile of ore beside his cabin. Rare, shiny, high-value ore that hadn't been seen in this region for decades. He touched it, his hands shaking. Worth thousands. Maybe more. It was a gift from her. She was repaying him, but for what? For unchaining her? Or for not asking who she truly was? Cole sat back in his chair and whispered to himself, she's watching me. He didn't know where she hid, or how she moved without being seen. But he knew she was out there. Somewhere in the hills. Not running, not hiding. But watching, and maybe protecting him. He looked up at the stars that night. Something about her was bigger than he first believed, and deep down, Cole felt it. This wasn't just kindness. This was the beginning of something larger. Something powerful. And it was coming straight for him. Cole woke up to a strange light outside his window. It wasn't the sun. It was still early morning. The sky was dark. But something outside his cabin was glowing soft and white, like moonlight. but pulsing like it was alive. He grabbed his coat, opened the wooden door slowly, and stopped. There, resting on the flat stone in front of his cabin, was a sphere. It was small, about the size of his hand, made of smooth silver, with a gentle blue glow coming from inside, like a heartbeat. The moment he stepped closer, the air changed. It felt warmer, softer, like something inside the orb was reaching out to him. He looked around. No one. She was here again, he whispered. He didn't touch it at first, just stared. The sphere seemed to watch him back, but then he heard her voice, not out loud. Inside his head, a whisper. A thought. For you, because you were kind, because you didn't ask. His breath caught. He looked around again, but no one was near. Is this your voice? He asked quietly. No reply. Just the soft pulse of the orb. Finally, with a deep breath, Cole reached out and touched it. His hand jerked. A surge of warmth rushed up his arm, through his chest, and into his mind. It wasn't pain. It was something else. Something impossible. Suddenly, he could breathe deeper. His sore knee, broken years ago in a mining accident, stopped hurting. His lungs felt clear. His heart beat stronger. The orb dropped into his palm, still glowing. Cole stared in disbelief. It was a healing device. No, not a device. Something more. Something alive. That night, Cole stayed by the fire, holding the sphere close. He didn't know what to do with it. Was it alien tech? Was it dangerous? But deep down, it felt good. Like the sphere had chosen him. He whispered into the fire, "Why are you helping me?" And then once again, her voice came into his head, but this time, her tone was different. "They are coming." Cole stiffened. "Who?" "The ones who chained me, the ones who hunt my blood." He clenched his fists. "Why? Why would they come here now?" "Because I escaped, and you helped. And they never forget." His throat went dry. He had lived alone for years. No one ever came this far out. Now someone or something was coming for him. "They will search for the orb," her voice continued. "It is part of me, and now, part of you." Cole looked down at the sphere. It pulsed faster. The next morning, the skies were not empty anymore. A strange hum passed over the hills. Birds flew away. Dust rose as a ship, dark, silent, and shaped like a knife, glided across the horizon. No markings, no lights. But it wasn't from Earth. Cole grabbed his pack, loaded a blaster he hadn't used in years, and hid the orb inside a thick metal box. He knew what was happening now. He hadn't just freed an alien woman. He had stepped into something much bigger. And the gift she brought wasn't just thanks. It was a mark. Now he was connected to her people, to her enemies, and they were already here. As night fell, Cole sat by the fire again, alert, watching the shadows. And just like before, she appeared. Only this time, she stepped fully into the light. She looked stronger, more balanced. Her bruises were gone. Her eyes were sharp. Her cloak had changed. Part of it now glowed faintly, like armor. She sat across from him, silent. Then she spoke, with her real voice. "This time, you don't know what you've done," she said softly. "But you changed everything." He nodded slowly. "Are they here for me or for you?" She looked into the flames. "Both." He didn't ask for explanations. He just asked the one question that mattered. "Are you going to run again?" Her silver eyes turned toward his. "No," she whispered. "Not this time." She reached into her side pouch and pulled out a small crystal glowing red. "What's that?" he asked. She placed it near the orb. The two lights touched, combined. And then the ground beneath them hummed. The orb flashed and projected a map into the sky. Star systems, paths, symbols. She pointed at one blinking red dot. "That's where they're coming from." Cole stared at the image. "That's not a ship," he muttered. "That's a fleet." She nodded once, and then said the words he wasn't ready for. You freed a royal. His heart stopped. What? I am not just a prisoner, she said. I'm the last of my line, and they want me dead. Cole stood slowly, the fire reflecting in his eyes. Well, he said with a breath, you're not dying tonight. Asterisk. The night sky was no longer peaceful. It growled. A deep, rumbling hum rolled across the hills low at first, like distant thunder. Then stronger, louder. Cole stepped outside his cabin and looked up. There it was. A ship. Massive. Silent. Black. As ash. It hovered above the mountain ridge, blocking the moonlight. Its surface didn't shine. It swallowed the stars. No warning lights. No engine trails. Just silence. Until a red beam shot down to the earth. He wasn't alone anymore. Inside the cabin, the alien woman stood frozen. Her silver eyes glowed brighter than ever, and her chest rose and fell with sharp breaths. She could feel them, the ones who had locked her in chains. The ones who feared her bloodline. They found the signal, she whispered. The orb was too strong. They tracked it. Cole closed the cabin door behind him. How long before? They come down? They're already here, she said, pointing toward the woods. They send scouts first, quiet, fast. As if her words had power, a sound echoed outside, metal scraping stone. Then another, then silence again. Cole grabbed his old blaster. I don't have defenses, no shield walls. Just dirt and wood. You have me, she said softly. He looked at her unsure. You still haven't told me your name. She tilted her head. Names are dangerous. But if you need one, call me Kara. Kara, he repeated. She nodded. If I fall, burn the orb. Never let them take it. No, he said firmly. You're not falling tonight. The first enemy came at dawn. It wasn't human. It walked like a man but had no face, only a helmet with one blood-red eye that pulsed like a scanner. Its body was covered in gray armor, and its hands had no fingers, only sharp claws made of steel. Cole spotted it moving between trees. Before he could aim, Kara raised her palm. A spark of blue light shot forward, silent, fast hitting the creature's chest. It fell instantly. No scream. No sound. Dead. Cole blinked. What was that? My blood remembers things, Kara said. Weapons from my ancestors. They live inside me now. You're a walking weapon. She didn't answer, because two more shadows appeared in the trees. Then 3. Then 5. They want to take me alive, Kara said. They'll kill you. Not if we kill them first, Cole replied. They fought like a storm. Cole set traps, old mines, electric wires buried under the sand. They weren't strong, but they bought time. Kara moved like light. Every time she raised her hand, the air cracked. Bolts of glowing energy burst from her skin. She didn't carry weapons, she was the weapon. And Cole? He fought with teeth clenched and hands shaking. He wasn't a soldier, but he knew how to survive, how to shoot, how to protect what mattered. He didn't care about their technology. He cared that she trusted him, and that trust was now his reason to stand. By nightfall, 5 scout bodies lay around the cabin. Kara leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Her cloak was torn, and blood, silver and warm, dripped from a cut on her shoulder. Cole handed her a cloth. You're hurt. It's nothing. You bled for me. She looked at him with tired eyes. No one's ever said that before. Suddenly the air changed again. A roar came from above. Not a scout ship, a hunter class warship. Big, fast, deadly. They were done playing games. They're going to burn this place to the ground, Cole said. Kara stood tall. Then we don't let them. As the ship lowered from the clouds, it began scanning the area. Kara grabbed Cole's wrist. There's one last chance, a call I can make, but once I send it, everything changes. What kind of call? She looked him in the eyes. A royal signal, a beacon. My people will hear it, and they will come. But it means revealing I'm alive. It means war. Cole didn't flinch. Then call them. But you don't even know what I am. You're someone who was in chains, someone I freed. That's enough for me. Kara stared at him, then smiled. Just barely. She pressed 2 fingers to the orb. The light turned gold. A pulse echoed into the sky. Far above, in a hidden corner of the galaxy. Stars blinked. A signal awoke Dot, and somewhere far away, a royal fleet began to move. The sky had changed. Dot. It wasn't just dark anymore, it was waiting. Cole stood outside his half-burned cabin, the dirt still smoking from the last attack. His hands were dusty, his arms bruised, but his heart beat steady. Somewhere high above, the Hunter-class ship still hovered, silent, watching. Kara stood beside him, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the night. They stopped attacking, Cole said. Why? They're afraid now, Kara replied, her voice low. They felt the signal. They know what's coming. Cole turned to her. What exactly is coming? Kara looked away, her face troubled. The ones loyal to me. The ones who still believe. He narrowed his eyes. Believe in what? She was quiet for a moment. Then, she finally told him. I wasn't just a prisoner, Kara began. I was a danger to an empire. Not because I was violent, but because of my blood. Cole listened closely. He could feel that the words she spoke had never been shared before, not even with her own people in years. I am the last daughter of the House of Araline, she said slowly. A bloodline of ancient rulers, long believed extinct. We carry something inside us, something more than power, memory, knowledge, a living bond passed from mother to daughter. Cole frowned. Like a living mind? Kara nodded. Yes, thousands of years of knowledge stored inside. Me, weapons, plans, codes, secrets that could destroy or save entire worlds. He took a step back, staring. And they chained that in a crate? They feared me, she whispered. Even my own people betrayed me. Only a few loyal ones remain. I was smuggled away during the palace uprising. But I never reached safety. Pirates took the ship, sold me as cargo. Her voice broke for the first time. I was passed around for years. Like a broken object. Cole's jaw tightened. All this time, he thought he had saved an abandoned girl. But she was so much more. A key to something galaxy-shaking. And she never told him. Why didn't you say this earlier? He asked, voice sharp. Because I didn't know if you were like them, she said, eyes watering. You could have sold me, turned me in. But you didn't. He stayed quiet. Then slowly said, no, I just saw someone who needed help. That was enough. Kara wiped her face. That's why I gave you the orb, she whispered. Because you're not like them. Suddenly, the sky flashed. A ripple of light spread across the stars. Cole and Kara looked up. They're here, she whispered. My people. High above, 5 glowing ships emerged from folds in space. They weren't like the Hunter ships. They were elegant, curved like wings, with trails of golden light. They didn't fly, they glided through the sky like silent birds. Of Fire. One broke formation and descended toward the cabin. Kara stood still. Her hands shook. They'll expect me to take the throne again, she said. To lead the old way. But I'm not that girl anymore. Cole stepped closer. Then tell them you're not alone now. She looked at him, surprised. What are you saying? I'm saying if you fight, I'll fight with you. The ship landed without sound. Its door opened. 3 figures stepped out. Tall, regal, armored in bright silver and gold. Their faces were not human, but beautiful in a strange way. Eyes like crystal. Their bodies moved like wind. One of them knelt. My queen, he said. Kara's throat tightened. Do not kneel, she whispered. I'm not your queen. You are the last, he replied, and the memory has awakened. The gift has chosen a second mind. His eyes turned toward Cole, the human. Cole blinked. Me? Kara's voice broke. The orb connected to him. It chose to share its light. The soldier nodded. Then he is bound to the bloodline, protected by it, a bearer. Cole took a step back. Wait, what does that mean? It means, Kara said slowly, you're part of this now. Whether you like it or not, he looked at her. I didn't save you for a reward, she smiled, small but real. You didn't. That's why the reward came to you. Behind them, the hunter ship turned away and vanished into the clouds. Enemy had seen the royal fleet. They weren't ready for war, not yet. But Kara knew this was just the beginning. I have to leave, she said. There's more to do, more to reclaim, Cole nodded. Then go. She stepped into the light of the ship. But stopped, turned, and whispered the words that made his heart stop. I'll return. Not just as a queen. She walked back to him, placed her hand on his chest. But as someone who owes you everything. Asterisk, the stars were no longer silent. Cole stood on the edge of the canyon cliffs, watching the night sky burn. Red streaks tore through the black clouds, each one a falling enemy ship crashing down like fire from heaven. The royal fleet had arrived, and they weren't hiding. Kara was no longer just the strange girl he unchained. Now she stood at the front of a war. Only hours earlier, she had flown off with the golden ship, promising to return. Cole didn't know if he'd see her again. He spent the night preparing for whatever came next. Checking weapons, charging power cells, digging out old body armor he hadn't worn in years. And then at dawn, it started. A blast shook the earth. Cole ran outside, shielding his eyes. Up above, the Hunter-class ship that had stalked them for days had finally attacked. It fired on the royal ship's heavy missiles and red beams of light, cracking the sky open. But the royal fleet was ready. They moved like birds of fire, fast, elegant, deadly. They didn't dodge. They danced through the missiles. And then they struck back. A wave of golden light ripped through the enemy formation, bending space around it. 3 hunter ships went dark, immediately falling like broken teeth. Cole watched with wide eyes. He had seen wars on screens, but this was different. This was history being rewritten. In the air above his head, suddenly, a transmission echoed through his cabin speakers. Static first, then Kara's voice. Cole, do you hear me? He ran to the console. Kara, are you all right? I'm here. I've taken command of my flagship. You're flying one of those things? I was born to. Her voice was calm, but her breathing fast. They're sending ground teams. They know I'm connected to you. They think they can still get to the orb. Stay inside. Cole looked out the window. Too late. Dark shapes were already moving through the trees, half human, half machine. Covered in armor, quiet, precise. No time to hide, he said. I'll hold them off. You're not alone. What do you... Suddenly, the roof of his cabin opened with a sharp hiss. A royal drop pod descended fast, crashing into the yard. From the smoke stepped a tall warrior, silver skin, glowing spear in hand. My name is Aron, he said. Queen sent me to protect the bearer. Cole grabbed his rifle and smiled. Then let's make her proud. The battle began. Explosions tore the trees apart. Enemy ground troops stormed the valley, firing dark plasma bolts that turned stone to dust. But Cole fought like a man with nothing to lose. Every shot he fired hit true. Every trap he set slowed them down. And beside him, Aron moved like a ghost, his glowing spear cutting through armor like cloth. Still, the enemy kept coming, until above them, the sky screamed. A royal dreadnought appeared, bigger than anything Cole had ever seen. It blocked out the sun. Its surface was covered in ancient symbols that glowed like stars. Kara's voice returned. That's my ship. Her voice wasn't soft now. It was steel. And it's time they remembered who I am. From the dreadnought's lower deck, massive beams of light fell from the sky, striking the enemy fleet with godlike power. The hunter ships tried to run, but it was too late. The royal fleet moved with precision, destroying each enemy ship one by one. Each golden flash was a final answer to years of pain, chains, and silence. Kara had returned, not just alive, but as fire on the ground. Cole watched the last hunter ship crash in the distance. A deep silence followed, then a royal shuttle landed. Softly beside the smoldering trees, the door opened, and Kara stepped out. Her armor now gleamed with royal marks. A crown of glowing crystal rested above her head. Her presence felt bigger, like the earth itself responded to her steps. But when she saw Cole, her face changed. She ran to him, dropped her helmet, and threw her arms around his shoulders. "You're alive," she whispered. He smiled. "You're late." She laughed, a sound he had never heard from her before. Free. They sat beside the cabin ruins, watching the fire in the sky fade. "What happens now?" Cole asked. Kara looked to the stars. "My people want me to lead, to rebuild, but I want more than a throne." He looked at her. "What do you want?" She turned to him, her voice soft. "To choose my own future, for once. And if I wanted to be part of that." She smiled. "Then don't leave." Weeks had passed, but the fire in the sky had not been forgotten. What happened in that quiet desert, where one man freed a stranger in chains, had now spread across stars and systems. Whispers became reports. Reports became legends. And at the center of it all stood Cole. He didn't return to the scavenger life. His old cabin still stood. Barely, but now it was surrounded by strange technology, placed carefully by royal engineers. Solar walls, invisible scanners, plants from other worlds growing where dead roots once lay. But it wasn't the machines that changed things. It was her. Kara. She kept her promise, not just to return, but to build something better. Cole sat on a quiet ledge, staring at the twin moons above. They were brighter now thanks to the new orbital grid the royal fleet had installed. This planet, once forgotten, was now under royal protection. Safe. He held the glowing orb in his hand. It pulsed. Softly, still alive, still connected. The memory inside it had grown quieter, but it was always there. It never truly slept. Just listened. Footsteps approached. He didn't turn. He didn't need to. "I knew you'd find me here," he said. Kara sat beside him, still in light armor, her crystal crown set aside. "Your heartbeat is always easy to follow now," she smiled. "Because of this thing." He lifted the orb. "Because of you," she said gently. "You accepted it. You didn't try to own it. That's why it chose you." Cole looked out at the stars. "And what now?" "Do I keep it? Do I protect it?" She took a long breath. "You do more than that." The next day, Kara called her people to gather. Not just her warriors, not just the fleet, but refugees, outcasts, survivors of broken systems, who still whispered the name of the fallen house of Aroline. She stood at the center of the gathering, not on a throne, but on the same rocky ledge where Cole had first spotted her silver eyes through a crate wall. No chains, no titles, just truth. "I will not lead you as a queen," she said to the crowd, "not alone. I will not carry this memory alone." Then she turned to Cole and offered him her hand. Gasps rose from the crowd. "He is human," someone whispered. "Not royal. He is more than royal," Kara answered. "He gave me back my future. He is a bearer of the light." Cole hesitated. "Are you sure?" She smiled. "You unchained me. Now let me unchain everything we were told to be." They led together, not as rulers of war, but as builders of peace. The orb they protected became more than a relic. It became a guide offering knowledge to those who respected life, justice, and mercy. Worlds once lost to fear were welcomed back into the fold. And the empire that once hunted Kara? It crumbled because the people no longer believed in chains. One night, much later, Cole stood in a glass garden, watching alien trees glow blue and silver under starlight. Kara joined him, her cloak brushing softly over the polished stone. Looked at her with a small smile. "You never told me what the original gift was, the one you promised." She raised an eyebrow. "The orb wasn't enough. That was just the beginning." She stepped closer. Her fingers brushed his hand. "No." She whispered, "You were the gift." He blinked. "I didn't understand it then," she continued. "But the day you broke my chains, you gave me something my whole world had forgotten. Freedom," she nodded, "and love." In that moment, no warships were needed. No thrones. No armies. Just one man and one woman. Under alien stars, who had changed everything, not by force, but by kindness. By choice. By refusing to walk away.